I've recently spoken live to a number of groups about various aspects of the law. Those talks tend to be a little bit too long and broad for YouTube, so I was asked to speak today briefly on what to do after a car crash. Now, I've created several videos talking about the 3 things that you should do after a car crash to protect your rights. This video is about why you should do those 3 things. Take the example of a typical minor car crash. There's very little damage and minor injuries that might resolve quickly. But even a minor crash can sometimes cause severe injuries. Days after an accident, a victim may start to notice that his or her injury is not getting better. In fact, it's getting worse. They eventually go to the doctor only to find out that they need significant medical care. I had a client with that exact situation. He got T-boned by a guy who ran a stop sign, and he thought the car crash had just sprained the muscles in his back, kind of a typical whiplash sort of thing. So he got a little physical therapy and took some medications and assumed that it would resolve. But as the weeks went by, he started to notice that he was dropping things like his keys, and he was having trouble turning doorknobs. It was very peculiar. But he was losing the feeling in his hands. Well, your hands are controlled by nerves that exit your spine in your neck, and that's where he was injured. So his doctor suspected a more severe problem than just whiplash and requested an MRI. The MRI showed that he had a severely ruptured disc in his neck and that it was compressing his spinal cord, and he had to have emergency surgery the next day. To this day, he still has some pain and very limited range of motion in his neck. What would happen to you at that point if you had not called the police? What would happen if you had just shaken hands with the other driver and let him or her leave without getting insurance information? Or suppose you got their insurance information, but then later, when you contact their insurance company, they tell you that their insured is now saying that you were the one at fault. You could be stuck with paying those medical bills yourself, and with no one to pay for your lost wages from missing work. If you think it doesn't happen, you're sadly mistaken. At-fault drivers will leave the scene of an accident and they'll begin to think to themselves, hey, no one called the police. No one took my statement about what happened. With no pictures, no statement, no police report, it's kind of their word against mine, isn't it? Trust me, it happens. And at that point, you're going to play hell trying to get your damages to your vehicle and your medical bills paid for. That's why it's important to take steps to protect your rights after a car crash, even a minor one. I'm Kirk Piccioni, and I've been representing people in all kinds of car crashes and trucking accidents for over 30 years. I've seen it happen. So check out my other videos detailing the 3 things that you should do after a car crash to protect your rights.